If you're doing outbound sales for an MSP, you already know that job's not easy, right? Like you're talking to strangers. People aren't answering the phone. When they do answer the phone, you're not getting through the decision maker, the person that you want to talk to. It can sometimes feel like you're just experiencing failure after failure after failure after failure. You know, you've made like 30 phone calls and you're like, damn, I can't get anybody on the phone. Or, you know, you do talk to 3 people in a row and, you know, people are hanging up the phone on you or worse, you know, calling you names, who knows? And so it's easy to feel like there's these series of failures when you're doing your outreach. And that's why today I'm not going to talk just general mindset. I'm going to talk resilience. I think resilience is one of the most important skills that you can cultivate when you are doing sales. And I'm going to share why. Okay. Now, to me, resilience is the ability to bounce back after a setback, right? So you've got a setback or a perceived failure or not accomplishing a goal or anything that could potentially feel like some degree of failure. And cultivating the ability to bounce back from that is what separates the champions and the people that are phenomenal, again, in life, but specifically in sales, the people that are able to pull themselves out of ruts, the people that are able to not get stuck into a slump, and people who are able to like bend the curve, right? After a bad day or a bad couple of days or a bad couple of hours, whatever it is. That stems from resilience. And the reason it's so important, especially when you're doing outbound sales, is failure, if that's what we're going to call it, failure, just not getting the desired outcome that you want. Failure is not just something that you're going to experience along the way. Failure is fully integrated into your role, right? Like mathematically, it is simply part of the job. And think about it this way, you're going to make 100 calls. How many people are you going to actually talk to? 15, right? That means 85% of the people that you are calling, you're not even going to reach. You're not even going to talk to. Well, some people may go, gosh, you know, I'm making calls, feel like I'm getting my ass kicked and I'm not, you know, hitting my numbers and not doing my goals, because 85% of the time, you're not even talking to somebody. That's actually statistically about right. Of the 15 people that you talk to, half are not going to be the right person, or half are not going to be the right number or the right contact or a decision maker. And then half of the people that are left may be decision makers that cut you off right away, right? And then half of the people that are left may, you know, let you get through your pitch, but not book a call, you know, not be interested and say, you know, hasta la vista, hang up on you. You know, so you get down to like some number, and statistically, you should have experienced failure 95% of the time. Failure is defined by not getting the appointment 95% of the time throughout your day. That makes resilience and the ability to bounce back from that incredibly valuable. If I do all of these things to avoid making the call because I feel like I'm going to experience failure on that call, I'm afraid of the rejection, I'm afraid of whatever that is, and I haven't cultivated the resilience to just like bounce back from that. So I do all of these things. What I'm doing is I'm trying to avoid the immediate feeling of failure. And the trade-off is I have a perpetual feeling of failure forever. Because the only way to avoid failure is to avoid doing something. Like if you are doing anything in life, in sales, if you're making calls, you are by definition going to experience some failure. The only way to avoid that is to not make the calls, right? It's to avoid doing the actions. If you avoid taking any action, yes, you might avoid the immediate feeling of stronger failure, right? Like somebody hanging up on you, but you are guaranteed to have the perpetual feeling of failure that comes from not getting the wins. So not making calls may help me avoid that immediate sense of failure. Like, oh, you know, I'm researching, I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm looking at websites, and I'm not getting hung up on right now. I'm also not getting any wins. I'm not getting any sales. I'm not getting any appointments on the board. I am going to, by very definition, going to experience a longer sense of failure into perpetuity forever because I'm not taking the action that's going to get me the wins. The only way to avoid failure is to also avoid winning. You have to go into this knowing I'm going to experience some failure, right? Because I have to experience it in order to get the wins, which means I have to cultivate the skill of resilience, of being able to experience it and not let it deter me from continuing to take action. A story that resonated with me early in my career, early in my sales management career. I was working on a project. It was pretty high profile. The executive team at the time, I was new to sales management. The executive team was aware of this thing. It was a test that I had proposed. It was a new idea. And I was pretty optimistic about it, right? So I went into it thinking it's gonna be a home run. This is gonna make my career. You know, this is gonna be awesome. So went into it, gave it my all, and it flopped. The rest of the day, I was pretty bummed. The next day, I was pretty bummed. And I think it was towards the end of the following day or so. I can't remember. It's been a while. But whenever it was, my manager came to me and he said, and he sounded like a little bit angry about it. And I liked this manager and we got along really well, very supportive. This thing didn't define you. But what you're doing right now is you are going to let that define you. Here's the thing, Ray. We are in business. Anybody doing anything worth doing and trying anything new is going to experience failure. That's all that happened here. You had an idea, you pitched it, you put it forward, didn't work, it was a setback, and now you're having trouble getting back up. Getting knocked down isn't something that you avoid doing. Getting knocked down is the game. It is part of the game. And the only thing that matters is that you know how to get back up and run the next play. And we need you to get back up and run the next play. Otherwise, you're not just going to let this thing define you. You're going to let your reaction to it define you. I'll tell you what, that's stuck for me to this day. Like I still remember, and I've quoted it, right? I've told people on my team, hey, cool idea. Didn't work. Get back up. Let's go. Like part of the game. We're running the next play. Like this, we got to keep going. That is the nature of this beast. It's the same thing in sales. You're not going to win every deal. You're not going to nail every pitch. There's a reason that when we look at close rates, they aren't 100%. And if they are, it's pretty suspect, right? Like if you see the way that's got 100%, like, I don't know what's really going on, because you can't win them all. Failure's part of it. What I've got here are 7 things that I have learned over the course of my career and life that have helped me build more resiliency and a stronger mindset, but like resiliency specific. And I'll tell you the first one. The first one is taking constructive or even harsh feedback with the best of intentions. So you take my boss in earlier in my career, and he came to me and was pretty stern about it. It wasn't like, hey buddy, like it's okay. It was like, hey dude, get up. Like this is how we play the game. I remember having a decision to make, right? Like I remember thinking, like I was younger, I was like, should I be pissed or should I just listen? And I made the choice to just listen. I made the choice to say, you know what? I think this guy has the best of intentions. Whether he cares about me, he cares about the business, he cares about the outcome. It sounds like they need me on the next play. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this feedback, as harsh as it feels. I'm going to not get defensive about it. I'm going to take the coaching. I'm going to implement the coaching. I'm going to get my ass back up and I'm going to run the next play. We never talked about it again. That I think is a lesson. And it's something that over the course of my career, I've had that decision to make multiple times. I've had people have tough conversations with me that were coaching, that were constructive, sometimes harsh, right? Like it's like, hey, dude, but could have delivered that a little bit cleaner. But who gives a shit when you're on the court? Think basketball, people aren't going, hey, excuse me, John, can I have the ball, please? It's like, hey, dude, like it's like on the court language. So if you put that filter on harsh feedback, the next time that you're getting what feels like strong coaching, don't assign some other meaning to it. Just take the message for what it is, extract the piece that's valuable, implement it, make the changes, see the improvements. The second tip that I've got, go into things with lower expectations, not necessarily lower your standards. You don't need to lower your goals. You don't need to have smaller goals, but lower your expectations about how the process of getting there is going to feel. Just assume shit's going to be hard. Like I did the math for you earlier. You're going to make 100 calls. You're going to have 15 presentations. Half of those people aren't going to be the right people or decision makers or whatever it is. Half of the people that are left are not going to, like we've done this, right? If I go into each day thinking, you know what, I'm going to set 20 appointments. I'm going to make 100 calls. I'm going to talk to 50 decision makers. I'm going to set 20 appointments. Well, I'm probably going to get pretty disappointed each day. Right? Whereas if I go into this and I say, I expect this to be hard. I expect this to be challenging. I expect there to be a learning curve. I expect there to be frustrations. And what I'm doing is closing the gap between how I think things ought to be and how things are really going to be. Now, if you do it right, you actually lower your expectations to a point where, hey, you know what? Today went marginally better. It feels pretty awesome, right? But your expectations are going to have a significant impact on how you feel about the same degree of work and the same degree of failure and the same degree of success at the end of a day. I go in and I can make the same number of calls, have the same number of presentations, have the same number of appointments set at the end of the day, and end up feeling one way or end up feeling another, based entirely off the expectations that I have to begin with. The third thing that I have found to be really helpful, not taking things personally. So, kind of like the coaching feedback, but just in general, like what you're experiencing on the phone, or what you're experiencing if you're out at a trade show, if you're out canvassing, or if you're out and you're talking to strangers, you have no idea what is going on in their life. When they tell you, hey, you're an a-hole, goodbye, or get out of my office, or whatever it is, right? Anytime that you have that negative reaction from somebody on the other phone, there's no point in taking it personally, because there's no way that it was actually personal. You know how I know that? They don't know you. They don't know who you are. They probably don't know your name. They probably don't know what city you live in. They probably don't remember the name of the company that you work for. What they know is when they were walking out the door this morning, they stepped in some dog shit on the way out, or their wife yelled at them because they forgot to take the garbage out, or their boss just yelled at them a second ago, or they had an employee or a teammate that quit on them, or there's so many things that can be happening in other people's lives. For all you know, you're calling after 3 other cold callers just came in who were terrible at their job. Hey, hello, it's dead space. And maybe they just took 3 of those calls. They're like, damn, I'm tired of phone calls. It's not personal. Don't take it personal. Now, the fourth thing, focus on the controllables. Like, what do you actually control? You can control the number of calls that you make. You can control the things that you say on the phone. You can control how you respond to other people. If they're rude to you, if they hang up, or if they tell you they're just not interested, whatever it is, you can control how you react to that. You can control how prepared you are for the day, right? You can control which list you're calling on sometimes, right? Like you can influence these things. What you want to do is you want to focus on what are the things that I actually control. Because if I'm focused on anything that I can't control, it is a useless emotion. Completely useless. If I'm upset about something that I don't control, like somebody said something to me on a phone and I get upset about that, I'm basically choosing to be upset. I'm choosing to be demotivated. I'm choosing to lower my own morale because I'm choosing to focus on something that I never had any control of to begin with. Now, the flip side of that is when you focus everything you have on what you do control, you tend to get better results anyway. Right? If I focus on the number of calls that I make instead of the words that everybody on the other end of the phone says to me, then I'm going to make a higher volume of calls and probably better quality calls. If I focus on the preparation for the calls that I'm making, if I focus on the script or the talk track that I'm using, if I focus on those things, I'm going to continue to get better results because I'm changing the only thing that can be changed to get better results. The world is built of systems with inputs and outputs. And the vast majority of time, you don't control the outputs. You only control the inputs. Those inputs influence the outputs, right? Like if you make more calls, you're probably going to get better results. If you make better calls, you're probably going to get better results. So if you change the inputs, you're going to influence the outputs, but you don't control the outputs. You only control the inputs. So focusing all of your energy and all of your attention on that is going to not only get you better outputs, but it's going to leave you more sane, like in the process, because you're not getting frustrated over shit that you can't control anyway. Now, the fifth tip is it's related to that. Okay. So in that, I said, one of the things that you can control are the words that you use on the phone. You have control of that. Embrace scripts, embrace talk tracks, embrace frameworks that help you stay within certain boundaries. And, I talk to a lot of people who are kind of like anti-script, right? Like, I don't want to read a script. I'm kind of like, I like to freestyle, I like to, keep it organic. Like scripts make me feel constrained and, all that. Do you think professional actors like a George Clooney, Brad Pitt, whatever, show up for filming and don't know their lines? Sorry, like I'm Brad Pitt. Like I'm not going to be constrained by this script. No, the reason they focus on knowing the script is because once I know the script, then I can focus on the performance. I can focus more on how I deliver that script and make sure that it's a high impact, high quality, that I'm into it, that I've got the energy. It helps me improve active listening. while I'm making the calls, because if I don't know my script, I'm constantly on my toes. I'm constantly like, oh man, like I'm fumbling around. Like, what are they going to say next? And where are we? Oh man, did I say that? Why did I say that? Like that's what happens when you don't know what you're going to say. When you know what you're going to say, you can turn all of your energy to how you're going to say it. If you give me 2 sales reps and one person knows their script in their sleep, like they have repeated it over and over and over and over. So they know it. They have it memorized. And I know some scripts can't be like fully verbatim, but you know what I mean? Like they know it, what they're going to say. The other person says, I'm going to wing it. Like I'm just a good talker. I'm going to wing it. I promise you that at the end of the day, week, month, the person that knows the script is going to deliver better results because they can focus on optimizing how they're delivering that script and making sure that it's received the way that they want to get the results they want. Now, the 6th thing is have a pregame ritual. All right. Like before you start the day and before you make your calls. Think about in basketball. If you've ever watched basketball, you'll watch like when they step up to the free throw line. A lot of players, almost every player, in fact, has a ritual, has a process. It's like they dribble the ball 3 times, they'll spin it, kind of crouch down and then shoot. Right. And then whether they make it or miss it, okay. Now, step back up, do my thing. It's how they practice it because practice makes permanent. They do that consistently. Same thing with like field goal kickers in American football. They count their steps, they move over, they've got this whole thing. And it's because they're addressing the mental game, right? And I encourage sales reps do the same thing. I do the same thing. And you can do it at the beginning of the day. You can do it before each call. I mean, the word of warning, the length of the ritual should correlate to the length of your sales cycle or what it is that you're selling, right? You don't want a 38-minute pregame ritual if you're supposed to be making 80 calls a day, right? Like it's not gonna work really well. But you can do something to start the day and get focused every single morning. And you can, between each call, do something. For example, some teams I've worked with, we get mirrors. We put them on the computer. I know a lot of you are gonna go, the old smile and dial thing, but you know what? It actually matters. The psychology actually matters. If I didn't kind of smile on this thing and I went this, like you'd probably receive the message differently. It's the same thing on the phone. And all they have oftentimes, if you're making phone calls, all they have is literally your voice. And the way that you project your voice, a lot of times has to do with how you carry yourself. So that could be something like, hey, glance in the mirror before you make the next call. Some people will sit down after a call, write their 3 notes, stand back up. Right. And get ready. Have something that allows you to create some separation between the calls, because the last thing that you want is some bad juju from a prior call getting carried over. Right. It helps you stay out of slumps and all that stuff, like something that allows you to reset, like stepping away from that free throw line, stepping back up. All right. You can do something similar for the day. Right. Like for most of the teams that I've managed, we do like a quick huddle in the morning. Yes, it's procedural. Yes, there's an administrative component. Yes, there is a focus element to it, but it's also a pregame ritual. It says, hey, you know what we're gonna do at the beginning of the day? We're gonna get sales focused, right? And we're gonna run a drill. We're gonna talk about our commitments. We're gonna do these things. Boom, break. All right, now let's go do this. Whatever it is for you, think about what is the pregame ritual that you can implement that allows you to bring your full self to each and every call and each and every day. And the 7th one, create an alter ego. You would be surprised at how many public speakers, well-known public speakers, are introverts, right? Like you get them off stage and they're quiet and they're a little bit shy. You're like, dude, how do you do that? Like you stand in front of hundreds or thousands of people and you do this. And I know many of them. And what they will tell you is, well, I kind of slip into an identity when I step on stage. And the way that I do that is usually with some type of anchor, right? And I actually stole this from Todd Herman, who's got a great book on this, about alter egos. And he, and actually another friend of mine does this too, actually wears thick framed glasses. And when they slip on the thick framed glasses, they kind of slip into another character. The glasses are fake. Like they are part of slipping into a character. And a lot of professional athletes do this, some consciously, because now it's something that people talk about. But for years, it was unconscious. Bo Jackson, the famous, football and baseball player, had a different personality, went into a specific mode before he went on the field. Justin Jefferson, for the Vikings, he has all these diamonds and stuff, like all this jewelry. Well, what's kind of funny is I heard him talking about it once, and he said, the thing is, I was a little brother. Like, and he's kind of silly, and he's fun, and laughs a lot. And he's like, but I was a little brother, man. Got my ass kicked. I was the smaller one, and was a little shy. But when I slip on my jewelry, when I get this on, like, I take on a new persona, like, entirely. That's why he wears it. Like, he slips into that personality. Olympic athletes, I'm telling you, it's incredibly common. And the reason it works is because, one, when you slip into a character, you are more willing to do things that need to be done because your character's doing it, not you, right? Like, if you need to run a certain script, or you got to make calls a certain way, and maybe you're like, I don't know if I would normally do that. You're like, boom, you slip into your persona. Like, it's not me doing it. It's my alter ego, right? That's what we do. The second reason it works is the flip side to that, which is the rejection that you get as you're doing something. Again, you're not going to avoid failure unless you avoid doing something. So if you're going to do something, you're going to experience failure. Now, how do you experience that failure? One of the ways is to insulate yourself from it with an alter ego. If you yell at me, guess what? You didn't yell at me. You yelled at my alter ego, not me. Like, I'm like a Justin Jefferson. Like, I'm chill. I'm a little brother. I'm quiet. I'm silly. On the field, I'm something else. When I learned that concept, I said, holy shit, that makes all the sense in the world. And it's typically anchored with something, whether it's like some type of jewelry or something you wear, or, glasses or a hat. It's why a lot of influencers, like people that are creating content and stuff, have like certain outfits and things, like because they're slipping into character. Those are 7 things that have helped me. I hope that they help you, come back and revisit this, like, periodically at different points in your career, your life. Like, one of these may resonate more than another time. Here's the thing, like, resilience it's not just like a nice to have thing. Like, it is something that's absolutely required if you want to win at a high level in sales. Again, really anywhere, you've got to know getting knocked down is part of it. Right? Like, experiencing some failure, some rejection, some disappointment, some frustration, completely part of it. That is a given. Can you bounce back? Right? That's the hard part for a lot of people. You can't win in outbound. You can't win in sales if you don't know how to get back up. And I'd love to hear, like, if any of this resonated, go ahead, drop a comment, make a comment, let me know. Would love to get some feedback. Just remember, you're building mental toughness, and mental toughness is an asset, part of your character that is invaluable for your career, for the trajectory that you're going to be on, and for life in general. So I hope it helps. Adios.